welcome to you. We are so thankful that you've chosen to join with us as we continue our discussion today on conflict resolution.
I believe that every one of us understand that conflict is going to come up in a relationship. And in understanding the conflict, we believe that we need to understand the energy behind the conflict in order to be able to resolve or have a better resolution that we can arrive at. And so in the previous videos, we've talked about some of these ideas and these things that will help you in a conflict when you're having a conflict. Number one, that you learn how to step away from that conflict.
Oh, yes.
Because what happens inside, the science that's going on in our bodies is that we go into a fight or flight attitude, and our brain waves are in such a high state that we can't learn, we can't resolve, we can't absorb anything. We want to fight or we want to get away from that situation. And in order to calm your brain waves down and bring it to a place that you can begin to absorb or process things that are being talked about, you have to step away from that situation, do some breathing, and then come back with a relaxed or a more relaxed atmosphere on the inside, because everything is internal to external.
It sure is. And in this day and era, we have to get better and better at conflict resolution. We're living in a world that we need, with our significant relationships, to have a soft place to land. If you are in the workplace or you're just out living your life, the external world provides a lot of things that can cause some internal conflict. And the virus issue that has been so real and hurt and wounded so many people and caused great illness and great fear. We have to have a soft place to land. And we want to give you some tools today so that when you come home or you're with your loved ones and when conflict arises, that it doesn't increase the issues inside of you that bring you into that high beta state of fighting it out, arguing it out, making yourself feel worse and worse and adding fire to the conflict, or just totally disengaging and detaching. Neither one of those are good responses. In fact, they ensure that conflict goes on. And today, and in our following videos also, this month on conflict resolution, we're going to give you some tools so that you can use them, so that conflict can bring you to a better place inside of your heart, a better place in your relationships, and you can effectively move through that storm to come to the place of rest and beauty and love that will make you sound mind, sound heart, and your home a soft place to land.
That is so good and so right. Now, one of the things that happens when conflict arises is you get into that high beta brainwave. And so you have to step away from that, number one. And then once you've calmed down, if you can begin to remove the face off of the situation, remove the familiar circumstances or whatever it is that the conflict has arisen about, and look at the energy and understand that that energy is not only coming from within that other person, but it is coming from within you.
You mean like when you are upset and angry, then the other person is upset and angry. If you respond with defensiveness, that's the energy that you're speaking of. You've got the initial conflict, and then you've got the defensive or the angry response back. We've got a real wildfire there, don't we?
Absolutely. And so you have to begin to back off and look at your energy. So many times our our body and our flesh wants to focus on the other person, the other thing that's going on.
That feels like they're the guilty ones.
Exactly. It's your fault. You're the one to blame. You did this. And so if you can back off of that and begin to look internally and see that you are carrying a like frequency that triggered or arced with that kind of energy in the other person, and begin to work on your energy. So let me say this. Contrast shows up.
Yes.
To show us what we don't want, so we know what we do want.
That's so important. So we can use contrast and conflict to actually cause us to shift our attention and focus to what we do want, to the peace, to the kindness, to taking responsibility. In other words, when we bring that to the situation, we're not adding fuel to the fire, we're actually bringing the calm waters that will put the fire out.
That is so good. And by doing this, by recognizing what you don't want, so you know what you do want, then you can create a different situation.
A different response.
Exactly. For you to step into and have and begin to change neurologically what's going on the inside. So let me explain some science today about what we're talking about. In the last 20 years, scientists have discovered some new brain cells within the cerebral cortex as well as the heart. It's interesting that the heart has these brain cells in it.
Very interesting.
Very. And these brain cells that are in the heart are called sensory neurites. Now, they are not the kind of neurological cells that think. They are the neurological cells that feel. And so if you're in the midst of an argument or a discussion that has increased your brain waves or those levels of chemicals being emitted in your body, these sensory neurites begin to respond and fire to that particular chemical being released. And they begin to form patterns according to what is being discussed or released, whether it's joy, sadness, anger, those kinds of feelings. There's also another neuron that's been discovered in the brain, a collection of them, and they are called mirror neurons, and it's those that we need to talk about today. So mirror neurons are basically what it sounds like. They are a mirror. So think of this. If you're sitting there watching a good TV program, let's say you like to watch a good cop show where they're doing an investigation and they're intense and they're trying to find, who did this and who did that, and you're into it. And all of a sudden, if you'll notice what is happening in your body.
Yes.
Your temperature's starting to rise. You're sitting forward on your chair instead of relaxed and laughing, and you're like deciding it's this one or it's that one. So you're into what is being created in the show, even though it's just a situation that you're not involved in. But you see, your body is mirroring the emotions that the program is bringing forth. And that's what your mirror neurons do in your body. They see what's going on and they begin to mirror that.
Yes.
And in that situation, you can begin to take and create a situation in your mind of how you want the outcome of your conflict to look like, and begin to experience that, because your mirror neurons do not know if it's a TV program or the actual conflict that's going on in your life. And that's the beauty of the way that our bodies are fearfully and wonderfully made. That if we will take authority and govern our mountain, we can step away from a conflict that has just happened, calm ourselves down.
Yes.
and begin to, when we are in the state of mind, a low beta, able to begin to say, you know what, I really love this person. I really admire them. I really honor them, whatever you need to fill in that blank with. And then create the outcome of that discussion and step into that, because you can train your body prior to going into that situation of how you want it to react, and it will start firing on that particular neurological pathway as opposed to the anger or the disappointment or the sadness or whatever emotions you've trained your body prior to that to do.
That's really good, Dar. So we have a choice. We can mirror the anger, the accusations, the condemnation, the negativity of the other person, or we can select what we want: kindness, love, peace, joy, and we can begin to engage with that, and we can mirror that in response to what others are offering to us. That will bring us to the place of taking it from up here, so to speak, and begin to lower the fight within the other person.
Mm-hmm.
If we mirror the anger that they're giving, the blame, the negativity, then what does negativity do? From one to the other, when you've got both sides going there, where you've got a horrible conflict that may have started over something small, but then it also draws within us from other unresolved places of conflict, from who knows all the way back when. And then this intensity comes up and it builds and builds, and before long we've forgotten the point, the little thing that we're upset about, because we have all these strong feelings because we're mirroring the feelings of the other person.
So good.
If you can separate, just say, give me just a minute, take 10 minutes, 15 minutes, separate, breathe, bring those brain waves down a bit, begin to look at what the outcome that you want, begin to mirror that, bring that back into the room or with that person, and continually mirror that back to them. You will see that conflict will become your friend, and what you don't want will lose its intensity, and what you do want will begin to become the outcome as a result of that conflict. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this program. I believe that if we will all do this, we will have some important tools so that we can navigate this somewhat difficult season that life finds all of us in, because you and I need that soft place to land. You and I need to come home and to bring to our children, our spouses, our friends, our relatives, love, peace, kindness, and stability. And I believe that that's what these tools are all about and can bring to you and your family. Well, we look forward to one more teaching this month on resolving conflict. We hope that you'll join with us. You might want to watch the other two that we've already recorded, and by the end of the month you'll have some wonderful tools to use as you continue to live the life that you were intended to live. For now, we say shalom, we bless you, and we are the Hebrew Sisters.